What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Cage by IQ. I am your host, Cage. Today, I'm going to be doing my PFL Week 6 4-card breakdown along with a few bet odds for this Friday's PFL event live on ESPN+. It is headlined by Kayla Harrison going up against Kaitlin Young with the co-main event of Rory Macdonald versus Sadibou Sy. As always, we are on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. If you could go follow us on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button down below. And also, please hit the like button below the video and hit us up in the comments section and let me know what you think of PFL Week 6 and then who are your favorites, who are your underdogs, and what you're going to bet for this Friday's July 1st card before it goes on break for a month before the playoffs start in August. But of course, before we get going with any of that, we are on Cash App now. Donations are not needed, but if you donate to us, we support that. We thank you guys so much. We're on Cash App at $ DanielBakley. Just like I said before, you do not have to donate to us, but if you do, we really appreciate any and all donations. But other than that, let's get going with the video for today. Let's start with the first fight on the prelims. We got a women's matchup between Lena Kalic versus Vanessa Mello. Both these fighters are coming in. Lena's coming with a win. Vanessa's coming in with a loss. Both by decision. I'm leaning with this one with the Cannon, Lena Kalic to win this by decision. I felt like she looked very good in her first fight and that she won by split decision. Vanessa Mello didn't have the greatest run in the UFC, and she is very low volume in her fights. And she just didn't look at high form in her first fight in week 3, whereas Lena looked like she got better from last year. She's improved her striking. She can counter very well. She knows when to strike. She knows when to move. And she can grapple as well. And ever since she made the move to the USA for this event, for the short term, she's looked like a better fighter. So I'm going with Lena Kalic by decision, and she gets 3 points, and she will finish with 6, which could move her into the playoffs, but we will see when the fights happen. But let's move on to the second fight on the card. We have a nice women's matchup between Martina Jandrova against Zamzagul Fizilnova. Both these fighters are coming in looking for a decision their way. As you see right there, Martina is coming in on a win by decision, where Zamzagul got knocked out pretty quickly by Larissa Pacheco. You would think that I would be going with Martina in this one because she's coming off a win, but I'm actually going with Zamzagul by second round knockout here. I feel like she has knockout power. Other than that fight against, of course, Pacheco, if you look here, she's won by decision, KO, and submission armbar. She has the strength to get the fight finished inside the distance, whereas Martina is more of a mid-volume decision fighter who fights to get the card to the judges. So I'm going with Zamzagul Fizilnova winning by first or second round knockout here. I think she gets 5 or 6 points, and she rebounds nicely. I don't know if it gets her into the playoffs, but it'll definitely get her into the question. Getting the win by knockout in this one. Moving on to the next fight on the card, we have another women's fight between Marina Martinez versus Abby Montes. Marina had that great tough fight against Kayla Harrison in the main event. Last fight, she looked very improved. She's going up against a grappler and Abby Montes. She likes to grapple up. She likes to throw knees and elbows. She has a little bit of the Muay Thai style, whereas Marina can do a little bit of the kickboxing and Muay Thai, but she likes to grapple on the cage, get into dirty fighting. And this is a fight where I see Marina win this one. If you look at her wins, she won by decision. She's lost by decisions as well. I just don't think that Abby can do enough to out volume and out grapple Marina. I think Marina's style fits well against Abby. If Abby can get the fight to the ground, that would make for easier chance of getting the win for her. If she could get the fight to the ground or get a submission, but I just think Marina can keep the fight standing, land more shots, even in the clinch, push up against the cage, and then just do damage. I got Marina Martinez winning by unanimous decision victory in this matchup. Moving on to the next fight on the card, we have a men's welterweight matchup between Nicolas Alexikin versus Carlos Leal. It was just announced today that Gleason Tebow had to withdraw from the event, so Carlos Leal once again steps in on short notice. He got that big time win over Ray Cooper in the first fight, which got him 3 points, whereas Alexikin got that controversial split decision loss to Sadibou Sy in his fight. We got of course, a sambo wrestler and striker going up against a striker who can grapple. This is the fight that could go either way. Casino Carlos Leal is stepping on short nose, but I'm gonna go with the underdog here. I'm gonna go with the short nose fighter and Carlos Leal. I actually think he gets it done inside the distance. He had that big time performance against Ray Cooper. He was able to out volume him and just outstrike him. He was able to confuse him. He got in there. He's very quick. He has a nice burst in his striking. And Alexikin is more of a grappler where he likes to get up close, take the fight down, and ground and pound you. But he's been trying to stand up and trade with his opponents lately, and he tends to start to tire out once the second round hits. And I feel like that's where Carlos Leal is going to do a lot of his damage, is in the stand-up game, because he's, just like I said, he's the quicker fighter. And I think he catches Nicolas Alexikin with the overhand shot, and he puts him down and gets 5 points by winning in the second round. I think it's going to be crazy that a guy that could step in on 2 separate times and on short notice can make the playoffs, because if he could get at least 5 or 6 points, it should guarantee him a spot in the playoffs. But once again, in this one, I got Carlos Leal by second round knockout over Nicolas Alexikin. Moving on to the fifth fight on the card, the first fight on the main card, we got Zsa Zsa Al-Silawi versus Magomed Umalatov. You got the Jordanian Lion versus the Prince. These two guys are both coming off of wins. You got one from 10 months ago, decision over Leandro Silva for Magomed, and then you got a split decision win over Gleason Tebow for Al-Silawi. This is a grappler versus a boxer in this one. Of course, Magomed's going to look to grapple up, get the fight to the ground, and submit Sahar, whereas Sahar is going to look to use his movement, strike from kickboxing range, land those kicks, land those jabs and hooks, and look to just either try and knock out Magomed or take the fight to decision, where he would have a big-time chance of stealing this one. I'm going to lean with Al-Silawi to win by decision here. I think he gets taken down once or twice, but he avoids a lot of damage. I think he racks up the volume against Magomed, and I think it's going to be more like a split decision where he lands more, but then he gets taken down several times. So it's just a matter of how the volume is to the control time of Magomed, and I think that's how Zsa wins this. I think the damage that he does with the striking will lead the judges to score on his side once again. So in this matchup, I give the 3-point split decision victory to Zsa Hussein Al-Silawi. He moves to 2-0. He gets 6 points total in his 2 fights, and it puts him in the chance to make the playoffs, depending on how the outcome is. So once again, I got Al-Silawi by split decision. Moving on to the next fight on the main card, we got a women's a battle between Larissa Pacheco going up against Gina Fabian. Both are coming off victories where Joria Bud got shocked by Gina Fabian by decision. She's Fabioso. She's fighting the knockout artist in Larissa Pacheco, who had a first round knockout over her opponent, Zamzagul Bizanova. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I got Larissa Pacheco once again by first round knockout. I just think she's stronger and more powerful than every woman in the division. Minus Kayla Harrison, I think she comes in there and she throws those overhand shots at Gina Fabian. She can grapple up if she misses, pushes off on her. And just that's going to be a goal, is to land that knockout shot. She wants that for that number 1 seed. She wants that advantage over Kayla Harrison because she wants that third fight with her. I think she knocks out Gina Fabian in this one. I think it's one of those bets that you got to make here in the amount of odds. Larissa Pacheco by knockout. But I think she gets it done in the first round, gets another 6 points, and she finishes with 12 points total to lock up the 1 seed for her. I think Gina Fabian's a good grappler. I think she's good at just the counter striking. But I think this is a fight where it's going to be hard for her to win with the power that Pacheco has and the strength that she has that she can use to defend takedowns or defend any grappling. So give this one to Pacheco by first round knockout. Moving on to the next fight on the main card, we got a men's welterweight matchup between Magomedov versus Zhao Seferino. These two guys are both coming off of losses. Magomed, of course, lost in his first fight to Ray Cooper in the championship last year. He was forced to pull out of week 3 last month due to just issues. Whereas Joel Seferino lost to Delano Taylor by split decision. Delano Taylor took that fight on short notice, but it was able to win by the slimmest of margins. I think that Magomedov wins this one by second round submission here. Seferino is a very good grappler, Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist. He just pulls out low to mid volume in his fights. He relies a lot on doing that and to defend anything this opponent does. But Magomedov, he hits really hard. He knows how to use his length. If you look down below, he's going to have that reach and height advantage that he can use in this matchup. I think he goes in there, throws his overhand shots. He looks to take down Seferino, and when he does, I feel like he's going to get a guillotine submission victory over him. I want to say it's first round, but it could be second round because Seferino is very tough. But I'm going to go with first round submission victory by guillotine for Magomed in this one. I think he's the better grappler. I think he takes down Seferino, and then his submission entries are just the best in the PFL, minus a couple of guys. So I think he gets the 6 points, and I think it puts himself in a very good chance to sneak into the playoffs, even with just one win. So once again, in this matchup, I'm going Magomedov by first round submission victory. Moving on to the next fight, on this PFL Week 6 card, we got Ray Cooper III versus Brett Cooper. I'll keep it short and sweet. This is a batter of a boxing and a wrestler versus a striker. We got Brada Boy versus Voodoo Shin. I got Ray Cooper III bouncing back and winning by knockout here. I think he uses his wrestling to mitigate any of the striking of Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper's going to come in with the bigger reach and height, but that's where Ray Cooper's wrestling comes in. He gets in close. He takes down Brett Cooper, and I think he finishes him with a ground and pound with this one. I think he gets it done in the second round. I think he has chances in the first, but Brett Cooper gets out of the first round. Then the second round starts. Ray Cooper takes him down again, controls him on the mat even more. When he's on the mat, Ray Cooper is the strongest guy in the UFC in keeping his opponents down. And I think he breaks the will of Brett Cooper, and then he gets the second round finish via ground and pound. I don't think it's enough to make him into the playoffs since he got penalized for the weight miss in the first fight, which he also lost to Carlos Leal. But I think he gets back on track in this one, and he gets 5 points to at least end the season with a victory. So once again, I'm going with Ray Cooper III by second round ground and pound KO over Brett Cooper. Moving on to the co-main event evening. This is my favorite matchup of the card. We got a men's welterweight battle between Rory, the Red King Macdonald versus Sadibou, the Swedish Denzel Washington Sy. We got a kickboxing and boxer versus a grappler and striker. Sy is coming in with the bigger height and larger reach. He's going to look to hit Rory Macdonald from the distance with those leg kicks, throw those overhand shots. He's going to look to just keep moving and land the volume, whereas Rory Macdonald is going to land the volume, but he's going to look to clinch up with the Sy. He's going to look to try and get inside, get the fight down, and look for those submission entries because his striking is not going to win him the fight in this one because the difference in height and reach. But I think the grappling is going to be the path to victory here for Rory Macdonald. And when you look at it here, he's done his best with the submission. Submission there. He's lost by decision. So he's not going to want to look to go to that. Whereas in fights for Sadibou Sy, he's also lost by decision here. And if Rory Macdonald can get to the ground, that's where he can rack the volume up. That's where he can look for a finish. He's got that big finish already in his first fight when he won by a rear naked choke against Brett Cooper. And now he's just looking to get another victory to solidify his spot in the playoffs. Whereas Sadibou Sy kind of needs a finish to lock himself up because he only won by decision in the first fight. So I think Rory Macdonald comes in here. He wears out Sadibou Sy, takes him down several times, and I think Rory Macdonald wins by a unanimous decision in this one by grappling. I think grappling does a lot of ground and pound. He does a little bit on the feet, but I think he's going to play it safe here and hope that Sadibou Sy doesn't outvolume him by a lot. And with the grappling, I think that's the way that he does it. So in this one, I'm going Rory Macdonald by unanimous decision victory in the co-main event. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we got Kayla Harrison going up against Kaitlin Young. Kaitlin Young is taking this on short notice for Julia Budd, who had to bail out. We got Kayla Harrison and then the striking Viking. She is on a 2-fight losing streak coming into this with Kayla Harrison with decision losses to Julia Budd and Marina Martinez. She did win by decision, and then lost by decision in Invicta FC. Whereas all you know is Kayla Harrison either wins by ground and pound or submission, and then the last one against Marina, she won by decision, where she looked a little bit sloppy in that one, but she still got the victory. I think she comes in here. I'll keep it short and sweet. She throws some good strikes at Kaitlin Young. She takes down Kaitlin Young. She controls on the mat for half the first round. I think Kayla Harrison gets this done by first round arm bar submission in this one. I just think she's levels ahead of Kaitlin Young. Kaitlin Young's taking on short news, so it's going to be hard to prepare for a fight like Kayla Harrison on less than a week's notice. I think Kayla Harrison just gets in and gets out very easily, and then starts to prepare for the playoffs. Because as long as she can get this first round victory here, it should be able to lock her up at least the 2 or 3 seed in the playoffs. But she definitely needs a finish here. So I think Kayla Harrison's coming in focused and ready to go, and she's going to look to get her game plan in taking down Kaitlin Young and then submit her. So in this main event, I got Kayla Harrison by first round armbar submission. That wraps things up with the prediction side of things. I did it a little quickly because I wanted to get it out since I was busy earlier this week. But let's check the betting odds right here. I feel like Kayla Harrison is kind of untouchable right now. I think Rory Macdonald, he's minus 275, so you could go by decision for him and get good odds. I think one of the best odds to go for on here is Zsa Zsa Al-Silawi. He's plus 175. If you can find one way you can find him winning by decision, you're going to get great odds there, because I don't think he knocks out Magomed, but I think he out-volumes him. The other one is Lena minus 195. More than likely, she's going to win by decision, so you can move her down the odds, and you can get kind of even odds there. If you can do that, look for her. I really like Sadibou Sy. That plus 240 odds hits me right there. It is big time odds there. I think that's the big underdog of the week there. And then, of course, he's not added here yet, but I like Carlos Leal with his odds. He's definitely going to come in as the underdog, and whatever odds he is, I'm definitely betting on him with it. I'm just waiting to see what the odds are, since it just was announced that he's taking the fight. So I'm going with Carlos Leal money line. I'm going with Elena Kletsnik by decision. I'm going with Sadibou Sy money line, and then I'm going with Zsa Zsa Al-Silawi by decision. So those are my bets right there for PFL Week 6, 2022. But other than that, I will be back next month for PFL Week 7, which is the start of the playoffs. We have a nice 1 month gap in between Week 6 and Week 7. So it gives you a lot of time to have an idea who's going to fight each other in the playoffs, do a little bit of tape study, and then just get yourself refreshed for that playoff run. But other than that, I just want to get a shout out to our sponsor, I Herbal. Use the promo code CageMyQ10 down below at checkout on www.hightideherbal.com to receive 10% off your next purchase. Once again, we are on Cash App. You got $DanielBakley. Any donation is appreciated, but it's not needed. But we do expect a lot of engagement from you guys. But we're all about the fans, so we're just putting that out there. If you want to support the show, you can. You don't have to, but we truly appreciate anything that you donate to the show. And then, of course, follow us on social media. Hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button as well, and then hit us up in the comments section. I want to get a lot of comments on this video and get all your guys' thoughts and opinions on PFL Week 6 and then betting odds as well. But other than that, that'll wrap things up with today's show. I will see you guys next time. But other than that, I'm your host, Cage, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in.